Right then, lads and lasses, how we doing, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all having a lovely day. Welcome back to the Geordie Josh channel, and welcome back for daily news. In today's daily news video, not only do we debunk some news which has been regarded on an Italian midfielder, an Inter Milan midfielder, and Newcastle United, but we've also got an update on Newcastle United striker targets, including one man I may have mentioned at the end of yesterday's video, who I am personally a very big fan of. That's all you must hear, ladies and gentlemen. All I ever say is I'm a big fan of this guy. I think I might need to start bringing some strikers down so we're getting like an equal balance here. One I am not a fan of is Nicholas Jackson, as you may have seen on my Twitter recently. But apart from that, we've got updates on Gonçalo, Ramos, even the likes of Samu Aghehowa from FC Porto. I'm so used to saying Samu or Marodion or whatever his last name was previously, before Aghehowa. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, if you do enjoy the video, or you end up enjoying the video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new for all Newcastle United content. Without further ado, it's starting to rhyme this now, let's get into it. So before the striker talk, ladies and gentlemen, which has been the talk of Newcastle United summer, hasn't it? Alexander Isak, Wissa, Callum Wilson leaving on a free. Can William Masula step up this summer? Blah de blah de blah. Sesko, Ekitike. My God, Liam Delap, Cunha, the list goes on, doesn't it? Nevertheless, though, Fabrizio Romano, away from the strikers, has reported, I think this was yesterday actually, but I forgot to add it into yesterday's video, although reports are linking Newcastle with Inter Milan and, of course, Italian international midfielder David Frattesi. Newcastle will not make a move for the midfielder. Newcastle do appreciate the player and have watched him recently, according to reports, but will not make a move for the player. Now, I am very certain that this came out from Italian newspapers and Italian media. What I try to do on the YouTube channel is not include Italian media, or even I'm going to stop doing German media unless it's some major news. They're just not trustworthy. I think we need to start sticking to the English media in terms of like when I'm bringing the YouTube channel news and stuff, because they're just not trustworthy. Like Florian Plettenberg from Sky Sports Germany, very untrustworthy at the moment, especially in the last summer window. And of course, they just say whatever. They link Sandro Tonali with a move to AC Milan and Juventus every single week, so their credibility is going by the minute, ladies and gentlemen. But on to what we all came here for, the striker update, and one I can't wait to bring you. It's been said by David Ornstein in this week's Athletic Transfer Weekly Sheet, as they call it, Newcastle do indeed retain a firm interest in Wolves striker Jorgen Strand Larsen. Discussions for the Norwegian are underway with Newcastle United's recruitment team, as the 25-year-old is keen on joining Newcastle, and as he should be as well. I love to hear stuff like that. Of course, if you watched the end of yesterday's video, you made it all the way through, and if you did, you're an absolute legend, by the way. I said at the end of that video, although there was no news on Jorgen Strand Larsen, he's a player I'd like to see at Newcastle. He scored 15 goals for Wolves, you know, and not a very attacking team, in a team that is in the latter stages of the Premier League season in, season out, or so for the past few seasons. He's in a struggling side, certainly will be this season, and he scored, yet again, 15 goals in his first Premier League season. He's 6'4", great in the air, both feet. Honestly, I would like him at Newcastle United, not as an Alexander Isak replacement. I think that goes without saying. Alexander Isak, as much as it pains me to say it with how he's treated Newcastle United this summer, is irreplaceable. Let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. And Jorgen Strand Larsen certainly doesn't replace the shoes of Alexander Isak. But as for a Callum Wilson replacement, oh my God, I think that's as good as we can get. I mean, there is talk about Wissa, and if we do get Wissa and Jorgen Strand Larsen, that means that Isak could leave. And let's be real, none of them players, yet again, do fit the shoes of Alexander Isak, although it would be fantastic to have both at the club for the versatility, the backing that we need, just to replace the two strikers that we've lost. And of course, that Alexander Isak money could go elsewhere. But in terms of other strikers, yet again, lads and lasses, Gonçalo Ramos has been linked to Newcastle United recently, more so from Craig Hope and the English media. Well, David Ornstein says that in terms of strikers, Gonçalo Ramos, one of such, has indeed been floated as a striker option for Newcastle United. However, the fee and the wages would make it unlikely, of course, to come to Tyneside. Now, Gonçalo Ramos isn't exactly a striker I've been amazed by. Of course, we all know his quality. He's played in the Champions League for Paris Saint-Germain, of course, scoring in the Club World Cup, in the Super Cup against Tottenham, where they won that trophy, of course. He is not a bad player whatsoever, but he's not one that's amazing me. Samu from Porto is a striker that I've been quite excited about recently. However, David Ornstein does say that, of course, Samu has been discussed at Newcastle, but that would also take a massive feat to take him away from Porto. And just to put a final dagger in the heart of Samu to Newcastle United, which yet again is a player I would have loved to see at Newcastle, and maybe you too. He came off from Porto's match last night, of course, playing for Porto. He was crying due to injury, so it looks like that's completely off. Whether Newcastle United would have offered that massive sum that Porto wanted or not, Samu looks like he's injured. Now, according to Craig Hope, he does say that not many strikers, of course, as we all know, are available on the market right now. All of the strikers that we've mentioned, he has mentioned, including Muniz from Fulham, who I'm going to be honest, I know there was some sort of reports at the start of the window saying that Newcastle are set to make a £35 million offer for Muniz, but I've never really been excited by Muniz either. I mean, he's not scored that many goals for Fulham, never mind Fulham, in his career. I'm sure he's only scored like 18 goals in his entire striker professional career in England, which is obviously not great. But there's not a big pool of strikers that Newcastle United can actually choose from. And I said this on Twitter yesterday, the striker market is not great, is it, ladies and gentlemen? Worldwide, which is crazy, by the way. The amount of football teams and players that there is, Newcastle United can't seem to find one. Of course, Craig Hope also says at the bottom of this that more Wissa developments are expected today, which is a positive. But of course, as a little backlash of that, there will be Alexander Isak future updates if Wissa is more developed in Newcastle United. If we are going to sign Wissa, of course, Liverpool fans, the media will be thinking that Newcastle are expected to sell Alexander Isak. Yet again, let's reiterate it, as we knew from yesterday, that's not the case. Newcastle need to bring in 2 strikers to let Isak leave. End of story. Now, in my personal opinion, I'm going to be honest, lads and lasses, as an Isak replacement, I think the best that we can get right now is Samu from Porto. But yet again, if it's going to take a massive fee that Newcastle United simply can't comprehend, and it's way too much to give to Porto, then I guess we can't do that. But then again, if it's a Wilson replacement, Jorgen Strand Larsen is the top of targets that I would love. Not an Isak replacement. No, I don't think he's the bee's knees. But yet again, I'm going to reiterate myself. He's massive. He's great in the air, which, if we're going to be honest, Alexander Isak isn't. Or not to say that I'm comparing Jorgen Strand Larsen with Alexander Isak. Let's be honest, lads and lasses. But as it stands right now, Jorgen Strand Larsen is my top priority for a Callum Wilson replacement. And for Alexander Isak, it doesn't look like it's possible. If Wissa does come in, he's not an Alexander Isak replacement. We all know that. He would have been the Wilson replacement. But what happens if we sign Wissa and Jorgen Strand Larsen? Does Isak stay? Then we've got 3 pretty capable players of playing in the Premier League. You know, game time's going to be an issue. It's all a load of palaver, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? I simply can't wait to see how this all pans out. Does Isak go to Liverpool? Does he stay? In my personal opinion, I think Isak stays. Not that I want him to, not that I'm desperate for him to come back to Newcastle United. I think we all know that by now. I don't want him to. I want him to go to any club, not just Liverpool. I prefer him to go abroad, but I want that money that we're asking for, £150 million, and as we should. He's still got 3 years left on his contract at Newcastle. Like, we're not going to be some sort of mugs and say, oh yeah, you signed that 6-year contract 3 years ago. You can go now if you want. You've done your 3 years. That's what you signed. No, he signed for 3 more years. He's going to do them 3 more years, or if not, we're going to get paid the money that we think he's worth. It's as simple as that. But there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. You let me know down below. Would you like to see Jorgen Strand Larsen at Newcastle? If not, would you like Gonçalo Ramos? Would you like Muniz, Samu, Aghehowa? What player would you like in Newcastle? What striker? Let me know down below, ladies and gentlemen. If you did enjoy the video, you know what to do. Smash that thumbs up button. And if you do, I thank you ever so much. Subscribe if you are new for all Newcastle United content. And turn that notification bell on so you are never ever late. That's always getting a mouthful now, lads and lasses. And of course, not that it's going to be for a while, because Liverpool is our next home game, of course, and I've got a season ticket, so unfortunately I can't live stream that game. I think I get put in jail actually with the Premier League broadcasting rights. But onto what I was saying, when we do play away, of course, if I'm not going to the match, which probably won't be often this season due to content and sort of stuff, I will be live streaming the match on the YouTube channel, so I look forward to seeing you for that as well. Yet again, I've been Geordie Josh. Hope you enjoyed the video. Go and enjoy your day, people.